So, now, Emily, on your notes, page 49, okay? So it says 510, factoring by grouping. So please read that first paragraph.
Anytime there are four or more terms in a polynomial, you must group terms in order to factor. The most common pattern is 2 and 2.
Aha! Does that sound familiar, ladies? Okay, here, eyes up here, in our AC method, granted, we started with a trinomial, but then we split the middle term and we ended up with a 4-term polynomial. And how did we factor it? By grouping 2 by 2. So this whole section, guys, is just a revisiting of the ideas of grouping 2 by 2 of your polynomials that have 4 terms in them. All right? So we're just going to refresh and look at some different types of problems. Now, it's also possible with a 4-term polynomial, in addition to the possibility of being able to split it 2 by 2, of being able to split it 1 and 3, or 3 and 1. Okay? So we're going to just first focus on grouping 2 by 2. All right. So ladies, let's take a look now at your front cover here, page 49. Okay. So here, I write notes. All right, so here, this example we've got. All right, so 2ab minus 6ac plus 3 minus 9c. All right, so you notice that they have lines under 2 by 2, only because their word processor can't make scallops, but you know you make scallops, okay? And you don't make parentheses, because that can mess you up with your signs, but you must do scallops, all right? So we scallop, and we scallop, all right? So now, all right, so here we have done a split 2 by 2, all right? And then what do we do now to carry out our factorization further, ladies? GCF. So we factor that jobby, and we're going to factor that jobby. All right, so what's the GCF of the first grouping of 2? So it's 2a, and what is my residue?
B minus 3c.
B minus 3c, and then we check, all right? So 2a times b is 2ab, 2a times negative 3c is what? Negative 6ac, perfecto. All right, now what do we do, ladies?
Bring down the sign.
Bring down the sign. All right, so we have a plus, and what's the GCF over there, ladies?
3.
3, and residue?
B minus 3c.
All righty. Good, and now we check. So it's the sign in front, plus 3 times b is what? Plus 3b, right? And plus 3 times negative 3c is what?
Negative 9.
Negative 9c. Of course, in all these checks, ladies, you're always checking a monomial times a monomial as the breakdown. So you're using SNV all the time, right? So you figure out the sign, then the number, then the variable part. All right, pretty cool? All right. So now, ladies, okay, do not fold over your, keep yours closed open at page 49. Do not open your notes. Now on your separate sheet of paper, you are going to, on your own, do this.
So it's the same thing as the last chapter?
after we split the middle term and got 4 terms in the polynomial, then this is just the same. So we start off with a 4-term polynomial and we group it 2 by 2 and then find the GCF of each 2 and then the residue of each 2 and then combine. All right, so this is,
Wait, is that a capital S? Yeah, what is
Lowercase r, capital
okay. Ladies, you know from the beginning I told you that my 5s are sharp corners and my S's are round. Make sure you do the same because I don't want to see S's looking like 5s and vice versa. All right? So lowercase r and one of these jobbies over here, lowercase t's. Do not make a plus sign. Okay? Do not make that as your t. All right. Now, ladies, go ahead. Working in partners. Okay, so you split 2 by 2, right? All right, so ladies, what was the GCF of the first pair?
r.
R. Okay, so you had R, and what was the residue?
S plus 5.
Good. And what do we do next?
Bring down the sign.
Bring down the sign. Okay. And now what is the residue of the second part?
T.
T. And the residue?
S plus 5.
S plus 5. All right. And now, ladies, what do we do? GCF.
GCF.
This is S plus 5.
And then
R plus.
R plus T. Perfecto. All right.
R plus C and then X plus 5.
Sorry, what?
I switched the 2.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I did R plus T and then S plus 5.
Okay. Remember, in your processing, you always pull the GCF and it gets written down first. So don't write your residue first, write your GCF, because that's the pattern that we always do. I mean, what is the step number 1 on your Bible? It says pull the GCF, and that gets written first, then you collect your residue. Okay, now ladies, okay, again, you're still working on your paper, you're not looking at your notes. Okay, so ladies, in this work, when you're looking for GCFs, you're looking for common terms, greatest common factor, common. All right? So ladies, what if we had this? What if in one term we had factor x minus y, and if in the other term we had the factor y minus x? Are those related to each other in some way? Can we turn one into the other? Yes, Tyler? You see the nod?
Yeah, because wait,
Go ahead.
because can't the x's and y's cancel out because one's positive and the other one's negative?
Well, I think what you're saying is that this is the opposite of that. Okay? So this baby is really the opposite of x minus y. Now, do we have a common factor in each of these two terms? Yes. Okay, granted there's a minus sign out in front, but we can always include that in a GCF for that term, right? All right. So, but let's just check to make sure this is right. All right. So, guys, the minus operating on x minus y, okay, takes the opposite of everything inside. So it would be minus of the x is minus x. There's a minus x there. A minus of a minus y makes it a plus y, and that's a plus y. So does everybody agree that this is exactly equal to that? Yes, okay. So, ladies, let's take a look at this, all right? Okay, ladies. Do we see any relationship between these two groupings in parentheses? They're opposites. Ah. So that means I can replace this baby by minus of m minus n, right? So now I've got an m minus n here and an m minus n here. All right, so guys, now eyes up here. Okay, so to replace the n minus m, I have to replace it by minus of the m minus n, meaning that that sign, that minus sign, has to be combined with that sign. So a minus and a plus gives me a minus. All right, so I can rewrite this jobby now as 7m minus n minus p times m minus n. So that minus, the m minus n comes down and the minus changes that plus to a minus, and then we've got, all right, and now, what do I do next, ladies? What do I do next? What is the GCF? So my GCF now is m minus n, and what's my residue?
7 minus p.
7 minus p. And of course we have to check to make sure we get back to our original stuff. So, how was that, ladies? Is that totally awesome? Okay, so now, ladies, what I want you to do is turn in your notes to page 53, and you'll
Done.
Oh, so you ladies did beautifully. All right. All right. So ladies, okay, here we have this job to factor. All right. And we see a grouping x minus y and a grouping y minus x. So is there any relation between those? They're opposites. Ah. So what can I replace y minus x by?
Minus y minus x.
Minus x minus the quantity x minus y. Okay, so minus the quantity x minus y. All right. And so now, ladies, what does that minus in front do to the plus that's already in front of that grouping?
It makes it a minus.
Turns it into a minus, so it becomes minus y x minus y. So the y stays the same, all right? That sign changes to a minus of a plus, changes into a minus, okay? And then we have the x minus y the same. All right, so we have 2x, x minus y. Great. All right, so what's my GCF here, ladies?
X minus y.
GCF equals x minus y. We write that down first. X minus y. Okay, and then residue is 2x minus y. And you ladies all did beautifully.